encounters in my near future. She places her hand on my shoulder and squeezes while I just gawk back, dumbstruck. We should work on getting you laid too. Being a virgin in college would be no bueno, my friend. Trust me on this. I close my jaw, and in hopes of a much-needed topic change, I commend her. Excellent use of the Spanish language there, Cass. Your Spanish teacher was a fool for failing you. She grins. Right? She looks toward the sky and exhales loudly. Coach is an asshole. He was just pissed I wouldn't sleep with him. My Spanish is just fine. Instead of sheer horror, I find myself strangely relieved by this statement. She takes another deep breath, then looks back at me. Ready? I nod and shift the backpack yet again as we begin walking. Soon after, we turn the corner onto Londonderry and make our way toward my house. As we approach, I spot the very familiar 1969 Camaro Z28 parked in my driveway and the driver sitting on my porch, patiently awaiting my arrival. I lift my hand to shield my eyes from the sun. As I take in his appearance, I'm whisked away from the present and deposited directly into my past. 5 years ago, to be exact. Hi. My voice is small and unsure as I attempt to speak to the boy sitting alone on my front porch. The crackle of the gravel under my feet, however, is the only answer I receive. As I hesitantly approach, I mentally peg him as being only a year, maybe 2, older than me. The tips of his sandy blonde hair gleam brightly as the setting sun strikes, highlighting both the top of his head and the strands that peek out at me from behind his ears. With absolutely no response to my presence, I watch silently as dust takes flight when he drags his foot through the dirt. My eyes fall to the tops of his shoes, the shredded holes displaying the gray of his socks just underneath. Slowly, my gaze rises to the frayed patches of his faded blue jeans, then to the brown stains on his white tank top, before it finally lands on the yellowing bruises lining the right side of his jaw. Internally, I cringe, but my voice remains steady as I offer gently, My name's Spencer. What's yours? His body stiffens before he lifts his piercing blue eyes to meet mine. My breath stills at the sight of them. They're the most fascinating color I've ever seen. So light blue, they're almost gray. So clear that I immediately recognize the pain he's trying to mask. He watches me cautiously for a moment, taking in my appearance before his face pinches into a scowl. Spencer? That's a boy's name. I nod. Yeah, not the first time I've heard that one. His expression tightens further before he finally breaks eye contact to focus on the much more interesting soil below him. This isn't the first time we've had a foster kid show up at our house. I might be 12 years old, but I know a lot about this kind of stuff. I know his life has been difficult. His annoyed and hardened response isn't something I haven't dealt with before. Therefore, instead of being insulted, like most girls my age, I simply take a deep breath and a seat next to him, saying nothing else while we watch the sun set in front of us, both in complete silence. Once it has disappeared below the horizon, the boy blows out a long, deep puff of air as though accepting his current situation, then drags his fingers through his messy hair before turning to face me. The side of his mouth barely curves upward into a subtle, yet playful version of a grin. So, Spencer, was it? I finger the strands of long blonde hair that have blown across my face and pull them away while offering him a tiny nod. He gives me a slight nod back and then jerks his chin in my direction before he speaks. Well, Spencer, want to get high?